watching Erie Digital News Now at 5:30 with Eva Mastromattio and Ethan Kibbe.
We begin tonight in Washington, D.C., where the White House is lit up orange to celebrate Halloween, a moment of lightheartedness, and what is a busy time in our nation's capital. This is Erie Digital News Now, a mix of the trending stories of the day and all of the local news you need to know. I'm Ethan Kibbe. Eva Mastromattio has the night off. Let's jump into your big three stories of the day. We've got a lot to talk about. We're preparing for some winter weather. John Stalen has details on that in just a moment, but we'll tell you what PennDOT's doing to make sure you're safe out on the roads, not just tonight, but once things get really bad in the months ahead. Also, last day to apply for mail-in ballots. You've missed that deadline. That was about 30 minutes ago, meaning if you want to vote and didn't request a ballot, you have to do it in person. We have some advice for voters 1 week ahead of Election Day. And a battle brewing over funding for Ukraine and Israel. We'll tell you all about it. Foreign aid, a big topic of discussion in the nation's capital. So let's talk PennDOT here as they are preparing for winter weather. Again, it is coming potentially within just a few hours, so PennDOT's getting ready. Here's a look at activity at the garage on Upper Peach Street today. All hands on deck. Crews getting ready for that first snowfall of the season. For weeks, they've been mounting plows on trucks, stockpiling salt, doing all the things they typically do. This season, a total of 54 trucks will cover 39 routes throughout Erie County, starting with interstates and expressways, then moving on to secondary and rural routes that the state maintains. As they transition into winter weather, PennDOT urges everyone to practice patience. It's the best way to get where you're going safely. Election Day now just a week away, and the deadline to register for one of those mail-in ballots just passed us. So if you're going to vote, you got to do it in person. This year's ballot features some significant state and local races. 4 Erie County Council races are on the ballot, as is a state Supreme Court race and a closely watched Mill Creek Supervisor race. Erie News Now is election coverage you can count on. We'll have live real-time results next Tuesday. That's Election Day. If you've already got your mail-in ballot, make sure you get it sent in so it arrives before Tuesday. All right, let's take a quick break from the news side of things and talk weather because, John, it's kind of what everyone's talking about tonight. So many people with outside plans and Mother Nature not especially cooperative.
Yeah, well, she might be okay. She's a little calm for the moment, and that, of course, good news. But a lot of folks getting the costumes on, getting ready to do the trick-or-treating. We're in a good mode right now. The earlier, the better, of course. I think that we're going to hold off some of the snow a little bit later on. Snow and wind chills, that is part of our concern with the Weather Aware Day. Remember, Weather Aware is for inconvenient weather. This is not that kind of storm where I tell you that it's not going to be real pleasant. Everyone out there will be affected by this some way or another, starting right now, basically through tomorrow morning. So we look at Prescott. You can see a little brightness out here, and this is where we expect some of that precip to start up. And you can see the yellows there. Things are changing a little bit as we could see a little bit of a raindrop or two, but I'm looking for cloudy skies through about 8 o'clock or so. Now, there could be a little bit of a drop here and there. All that green and stuff not necessarily hitting the ground at the moment, but the air will get a little bit more moist, and then that stuff will start falling. You can see the lowering clouds over the lake right now. Crime Victim Center camera of Erie, we are at 44 degrees. A little detection of some shower activity near the airport, but again, a lot of that not hitting the ground at the moment, so you're pretty good to go. Temperatures falling into the 30s already into the higher elevations. It's going to be a cold one out there, and any wet surface has the potential to have some slick spots. Sure, the ground is warm, but places like bridges and overpasses, they freeze over a little quickly. So watch out. 46 our high today, 57 our average. Far from that, we'll be closer, at least into the 50s as we head on to the week. So a few showers early, changing over to some wet snowflakes by midnight, and overnight could see some heavier snow showers, especially in parts of Crawford County, and then things clearing out. We'll take a closer look at your forecast coming up in a few.
John, thanks. Let's welcome in our Ariana Moyer, who's talking today about something we discuss frequently on this newscast, artificial intelligence. Today, though, some safeguards against what it could become.
Yeah, and I think we talk about AI a lot, like you said, and we talk about how there isn't a lot of stuff like this in place.
It's so the Wild West. It's
sign that.
So President Biden said he wants to move fast on AI safeguards, and he signed an executive order on Monday to address his concerns. He signed this sweeping executive order on AI that kind of seeks to balance the cutting-edge technology companies and national security as well as consumer rights. So this early set of guardrails will kind of be fortified by further legislation, global agreements, etc. And when he signed the order, he said AI is really driving change at warp speed, and there's a lot of potential there, but also perils, so we need to have checks and balances in place. And essentially, he said his reasoning for this was because he thinks the government was kind of late on the ball in regards to social media, and now you see a big mental health crisis in regards
Kind of
to
late
that.
would be an understatement.
Yeah, and
Right.
so he wants to kind of get ahead of this here. That way, if there is anything big like that, we can kind of stop it now. So there's a lot that goes into this, like whether or not you need to put watermarks on AI, and so people know that it is fake content or generated content by that, as well as congressional actions needed there in terms of making money on it. There's a lot that goes into this. We have further details on our website. It's definitely worth reading into because it's something that affects us if you are using AI on your phone or for projects.
You are
things
likely
like
using
that.
it and not realizing
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Because it is already pervasive and is going to become more so.
Exactly.
Going to
He wants
become a
it to
normal
be
part of life.
trustworthy and helpful rather than deceptive. No
AI,
Terminator
right.
kind of thing,
It's
you know?
not just ChatGPT. It's so much more
Yes.
than that, and it's almost undoubtedly being used in applications you use every day.
Yes.
More on that on our website, erienewsnow.com. It is the place to go for all the news you need all the time. Back over to the storyteller we go with one, John Stalen. John, let's get into it here with our trending stories, and this one's very local. This is the Barber Center. It's Halloween parade today. Not so scary today. 150 students and staff. This is wonderful.
Yeah, and it's indoors where it's nice and warm and safe, of course, as well. Of course, I remember doing this as a child too. I'm not sure how fun it was for me. I'm not a big Halloween
Nor am I.
person.
I'm with you. You even have an orange tie on today. I didn't even go that far.
Yeah, I actually did, and that's kind of rare. But nonetheless, they're having a good time, and it is kind of cute.
Oh, it's wonderful
excited.
for kids.
Yes,
It
yes.
absolutely
Yeah,
is.
this is a kid's holiday.
All righty. Speaking of Halloween,
more Halloween.
and
How
kids, yes,
exciting.
this is a house we showed you at the top of the show. It's called the White House.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Yeah, you might have. There's President Joe Biden, First Lady Joe Biden, dressed like the White House's cat, giving out treats to
Oh, okay.
young children here last night. So a nice little celebration there in
See,
Washington.
to me, it doesn't matter who the president is, so don't get on me, but just to be a kid.
It's the President of the United
He's the President of the
States.
States. No matter if you like him or not, he's the president, and that would be super cool.
Right.
See, to me, I would dress up for that. Although I don't know if they should be letting people in with masks. That's a little scary.
Especially with the
Yeah.
mask there from the plague. Yeah, that was nice.
What was he giving out? I didn't see what he was giving out. No,
Well, let's see if we can go back. This is
what
important.
was he giving out? Yes.
All right, we got like handfuls of candy. That's solid.
Yeah, that's solid. It wasn't the big bars, but it was okay.
Hey, but there was enough different stuff. There's hope for America is what that means. If we're to the point where we're giving out one fun size.
That's right. You could,
Right.
Oh, and it has a presidential seal on it.
Oh, there
too.
you go. That really is what you
That'll
want.
be on eBay soon.
All right, now, this 2-year-old getting pulled over by the police, and John, frankly, this is appalling. The number of violations here, I don't see any sort of restraint on her.
No, not at all.
I'm betting those mirrors are not properly adjusted if they even work. I mean, she's
No.
going away for a long
And
time.
the pigtails distracting the other drivers.
Right,
as
she's
they
trying to
come
brush her teeth and drive.
That is hilarious. So
A
I'm
slow
assuming,
speed chase,
I'm
this time the
assuming
way
she
that she'd be in the
decided
back.
to run away or something.
She's just out enjoying
Just enjoying herself.
a joyride, frankly.
I'm kind of jealous because I was not old enough to have these when I was a kid.
I'll bet you anything the car's not in her name.
We had the big
criminal.
Oh yes, well, you know, she's got to make payments with that piggy bank. She's got to make payments.
That's everybody does.
Right, she's got a
Learning, yeah.
banknote.
Lots more on Erie Digital News now at 5:30. John Salen's full first warning weather forecast, plus a very, very successful gun buyback in Erie. First one in almost 30 years. We'll tell you just how successful and what local community leaders say about it next.
Erie Digital News Now at 5:30 continues.
Welcome back. John Stalen ready with his extended forecast. John, we know the snow is coming. The question is it sticking around or is it one that's gone as quickly as it arrives?
Yeah, it's not going to stick around too long. It'll be a little bit of an hors d'oeuvre from Mother Nature, and I'm sure we'll get some down the road for the most part. But I am getting some reports of some flakes flying out into Green Township. Again, as I said, you might see a few flakes here and there. That's not what we're looking for. It's more the abundant precipitation. So we look ahead at tomorrow already. You can see here it's going to be gone pretty quickly. Still a northwesterly wind there. It's going to be a cold wind. And again, we talk about wind chills 40 and below. So for much of the day, we are going to see some pretty cold wind chills out there throughout the day. So if you do work outside, please bundle up, cover that exposed skin. It's not that frost biting kind of cold, but eventually could get to you. So some of this light stuff flying over the area, yeah, you might see a little bit of a flake or two falling. I don't see any kind of real accumulation from this, but nonetheless, we're waiting for later on into the evening when we see some of that heavier stuff move on in. As you can see here, right around 9 o'clock or so, that's when we think that'll start across the area. All right, weather aware day for you. It means weather will be inconvenient for some folks, so please take it easy, especially with some late night trick-or-treating or partying from some folks. Could get a little bit dicey out there with some reduced visibility from some possible rain. So simply the facts here, we are looking at some lake effect. It kicks in tonight, later tonight. Might see a general snowflake before that, but generally that lake effect kicks in tonight through tomorrow morning. I could see about up to 3 inches or so inland areas out there. The impacts will be roads and some trees. Some of these trees could get weighed down by some of that wet snow and bend some of those branches, eventually snapping them. And as I said, near or below freezing. Wind chills will be into the 20s overnight through tomorrow morning. So kiddies going to the bus stop, going to be a cold start for you out there. As we take a look at some of the future wind chills, this is 11 o'clock tonight. Could see them into the 20s, mid 20s for you here in the Erie. That's cold. Below freezing wind chills out into Meadville or so. So again, that is going to be an issue. And again, tomorrow morning, if you're heading out and about, everybody into the 20s, low 20s. So check in with AJ Mastrangelo, see if it's going to warm up at all. And if there's any kind of leftover snow tomorrow morning. Record books here as we take a look at Halloween rain. It's not unusual for it to rain, but guess what? It's been dry more than it has rained since 1873. 62 days of dryness on Halloween. 51 where we saw anywhere up to a half an inch of rain, and there's been a few days where we've seen rain more so. Of an inch or more. So all in all, that's pretty interesting. All right, Erie County for you as we head through the next 12 hours. Get a little bit of a light rain shower. Again, I'm looking more so later tonight for more abundant stuff, more widespread stuff to start happening. I think you're good. Like I said, the earlier you go trick-or-treating, the better off you'll be. Throughout the night, we'll see that little rain-snow mix. Out in Crawford County, we'll do the same again with a couple of rain showers, a little bit of a snow shower or two. So we head into the overnight. Here's one of our concerns, depending on that lake effect band, maybe Meadville sees the most in accumulation. We'll watch out for that. And you can see some flurries, some light snow showers by tomorrow morning up here into Warren County, and some light winds too. Very quick look at the 7-day outlook. Temperatures back to the 50s by Thursday and Friday, the weekend into the middle 50s, and we're looking good.
Little blip. Thanks, John. General Motors and the UAW say they've come to a tentative agreement. That's the last of the Detroit Big Three manufacturers to reach a deal with the union. If it indeed moves forward, hundreds of mid-Michigan GM employees could be back on the job very, very soon. After a month and a half, workers say they are eager to get back to work, and that tentative agreement with GM, which still needs to be ratified, looks really similar to the ones reached between the UAW with Ford and Stellantis over the last few days. Many workers saying they feel cautiously optimistic it's possible that strike is over. The Erie County District Attorney's Office gun buyback event over the weekend. Inarguably a big success. Hundreds of people lining up to turn in firearms. It was such an overwhelming response, in fact, that the DA's office ran out of the gift cards that they were giving in return for the guns and had to go get more. The goal here was to give people an opportunity to safely dispose of any firearms that they weren't using anymore. That way, it gets them out of homes where accidental shootings can happen, or where perhaps if a house is robbed, someone could steal a gun and now it's out on the street. Bishop Dwayne Brock has worked for years to try to stop gun violence, and he says this is a good step, but he says a lot more work needs to be done. We reached out to the DA's office. They say they'll have final statistics in the days ahead. Big news at Wabtec, all about a pink, powerful locomotive with a powerful message about battling breast cancer. Wabtec and its Australian iron ore mining customer Roy Hill debuted the world's first 100 battery-powered heavy-haul freight locomotive. There it is, and yes, it is indeed pink. Wabtec has been working to dramatically cut emissions and fuel use in the rail industry, but this one, 3 times more powerful than Wabtec's first prototype, with a capacity of 7 megawatt hours compared to other locomotives. It can haul now 33 tons of iron ore for Roy Hill. All of Roy Hill's vehicles are painted pink. The idea? Spreading a message about breast cancer awareness and the importance of early detection. To punctuate that today, Wabtec gave Linked by Pink, a local nonprofit, $50,000 to support women here who have been diagnosed with breast cancer. Lots more to get to on Erie Digital News Now at 5:30. There's a QR code right there. You can use your smartphone camera to see all of the stories we're covering in this newscast. But safety, it is top of mind as folks hit the streets tonight to go trick-or-treating. PennDOT with some safety tips we're talking about with Ariana next.
It caught on in a flash. They did the mash. They did the monster mash. The zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rocking, all were digging the sound. Igor on chains, backed by his baying hound. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Crypt Kicker Five. They played the mash. They played the monster mash. The monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. They played the mash. It caught on in a flash. They played the mash. They played the monster mash. Out from his coffin, Drac's voice did ring. Seemed he was troubled by just one thing. Opened the lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?" It's now the mash.
Spent $200 on these boots or some shit.
Incredibly offensive jokes that I'm making not to say. Welcome back. Ariana Moyer joins me once again. We're talking top 3 trending stories on ErieNewsNow.com.
Yeah.
What has risen to the top today?
Okay, so we're going to talk about Break Iron Jewelers, and they're going out of business sale, then the total solar eclipse and hotel rates. Luckily, we live here, so we don't have to worry about that. And then we have trick-or-treating safety tips from PennDOT.
Let's start a mile east of here at Break Iron.
Yes, so Break Iron Jewelers in Erie is having their going out of business sale. It started today after the owner announced her retirement on Facebook a few days ago. So Linda, the current owner, started working there when she was 19. She took it over the business from her parents, so she's been running it for over 40 years. The business itself has been around for 59 years. And so yeah, starting today, store merchandise is up to 70% off. And if you mention watching her retirement video, you get an extra 10%. So engagement rings, necklaces, gold, gems, all those things, all on sale.
Linda Break Iron, one of the nicest people around. Wonderful, wonderful human being.
That's
Happy
what the
for her that
comments
she
were
gets
saying,
to retire,
yes.
but sad to lose a local business and someone who genuinely cares about Erie.
Exactly.
All right, well, the money you save on your engagement ring
Yes.
can be spent to get a hotel room for one night in Erie when the eclipse is here.
Yeah, so in 5 months, we have the total solar eclipse. It's gonna darken the sky. This is the big deal since it's the first one since 2017. And we are in the path of totality, meaning that if you want a good chance to see it, this is the place to be. And that is why hotels in the area are kind of jacking up the prices, so to say. In a recent New York Times article, they talked about the Bayfront Hampton and how rooms were going for about $1,100. I double checked, so if you go to their website, the rooms during the dates of the eclipse, the 7th to the 9th, are sold out, but on third-party sites where they have rooms reserved, they're going for $1,100. Then I was like, I'm gonna check Airbnb, because sometimes it's a little more affordable. Up to $4,500 a night for a house in Erie. Rooms are going from 40 to 80 if you want just a room. But
I've got the upper of my house.
Yeah.
Do you
could
think
make
that
bank.
I could? Yeah, I'm going to be here working anyway.
But $4,500 for a house for one day, I think you're racking in the money, so good for them, I suppose.
There we go. Okay, trick-or-treating PennDOT.
Yes, so obviously tonight is Halloween. A lot of people are going out trick-or-treating. If you need to check those times, go to our website. But yeah, so there's gonna be a lot of kids out on sidewalks in the roads because not all communities have sidewalks. And so PennDOT said the #1 rule is make yourself as visible as possible, wear reflectors, not dark colors, stay on the sidewalks if possible, and drivers, pay attention, avoid distractions, and just look where you're going.
Safety
Slow
first,
down.
be smart. That's what it boils down to. Lots more to get to here on Erie Digital News Now at 5:30. A chance to make you smile with some cute babies just up the road from here. There's one costume you gotta see. There it is. All right, Cleveland Browns. We're back in a moment.
When you hear these zombies shrieking, we're so sorry, skeletons, you're so misunderstood. You only want to socialize. Scary skeleton shouts startling shrilly screams. They'll sneak under sarcophagus and just won't leave you be.
It wouldn't be Erie Digital News Now at 5:30 without bears, so here we go. Juneau, Alaska, where a bear is using a tree to scratch its back. Now, actually, it's kind of marking the area with its scent. This is a trail cam that picked this up, but it's your daily 5:30 bear. Hope you enjoyed. Okay, up the road we go to the Cleveland Clinic, where babies in the neonatal intensive care unit had a chance to celebrate Halloween. Let's take a look at some of the costumes here. They're all very nice, but the important one is the third one. There's the second one. And here's the third one. Nick Chubb of the Cleveland Browns. Fingers crossed that that young man ends up a great running back for Cleveland as well. That's